Well, everything repeats itself, and where we're headed back to is peace, love, and happiness.
Yeah, I love that.
That's where we're headed back to. And what you're going to see people do is start communing together, living together, building together in the microsystems. So you're going to see a lot of microsystems develop.
Hello, everyone. Thank you again for coming here on the channel at Leaders Uncut. It's so wonderful today to have with us Samuel Alexander, who is the CEO of C2C Global Fashion and Technology. Hello, Samuel. How are you doing today?
Doing great here in Austin, Texas.
I know. Gosh, that's one place I need absolutely. I have to go visit.
As I said, come on down. We love to
Yeah,
have people
yeah.
visit. Just we just don't like when they stay.
Oh, you don't like that's right when we stay too long. Yeah.
People move here from California and New York. It's unbelievable.
Oh, really? Yeah, there's a big shift for sure. Yeah. An exodus out of California is happening right now. Yes, they're coming to Reno, Nevada too. Yeah. All right. So, Sam, tell us what I'd like to do is give us a little bit of some idea on your background and the reason why you created C2C Global Fashion and Technology, because it's really a very unique ecosystem. You're obviously utilizing technology. So, why don't we start there?
Sure. I've been in the fashion industry for over 40 years. Started out with Levi Strauss, Gloria Vanderbilt, Jones New York, Manhattan Industries. I could go through the list. I've also developed over 100 labels of companies from Europe, South America, and Asia. I've done production. I've had my own departments in all the major stores, Neiman's, Nordstrom, Saks. So I've done the whole gamut of the fashion industry. But I realized that the industry was changing. And I also developed the first Microsoft software that was for the industry. And after I saw SQL Server, I said that things are going to change. So we built our first cloud system in 2002. So we were in the cloud in 2002 and kind of ahead of the game as far as that goes. I also went through a divorce, lost everything, had to start over. And when I came back and started to try to rebuild the company, my engineer said it's all old technology. We have to start over completely, which was a blessing in disguise because I was able to move into all the new technology. As you already know, every 90 days is a generation gap in this technology, and you
Yeah.
constantly got to be moving and stacking. And with AI, it's even becoming faster. So we're moving very, very fast now. But our industry has an issue. We have 8%, we actually do 8 to 10% of the carbon for the whole world,
Okay.
20% of the water waste for the whole world. 80% of our products end up in landfills. And then the bulk of our products are petrochemical combined. So there's a huge issue with our sustainability as an industry, not to mention we do $2.2 trillion a year globally. So we're one of the second largest industries behind the petrochemical industry. And people don't realize just how large and how destructive our industry is to the ecosystem. This is my last quarter, and I want to make sure that I leave something. And so what my goal is to completely revamp the industry and make it more sustainable. And so that's what I've been focused in on. I have a lot of complaints from investment capital people that want to make a quick buck. And I'm like, no, this is not what this is about. This is about changing the industry and making it sustainable for the rest of the industry's life cycle. So what we're focused in on is smart factories, smart networks, smart products, and building into smart cities. And we also are focusing on Web3 technology. So we're looking at verifiable technology
Wow,
in
yeah, I
Web.
mean, it's a major initiative, of course, a very disrupting initiative, but a very essential initiative that needs to take place right now. So I really applaud you from that. So you're leveraging AI, IoT wearables, even biotech in your product development, right?
Doing biotech, nanotech integrations. We've had everything from a motorcycle jacket with GPS in the shoulders that automatically turns signal lights on, that does visibility when it's not signaling, and taps you on the shoulder and tell you which direction to change. We've also adding fibers into the inner jacket for cooling and warming of the inner sides of the jackets. We have a fiber that we introduced with I have basically partners that come in and bring me concepts and ideas, and we take it from the concept to consumption part of it. And I've
Yeah,
developed
wow.
prototyping,
Wow.
distribution, all this the technology that they need to be able to have a up and running business. But when they walk into our doors, we have all kinds of different factories and things that we work with globally that are helping us to facilitate this. We've also built two factories here in the U.S., one here in Austin with Gerber, which is now part of Litrix, and then the second one was in Detroit with Tukatech. So
Okay.
the companies have basically helped to finance the reshoring of our industry. So we're kind of ahead of the game right now because we are reshoring, and we've built out scaled prototypes that we're working out all the bugs. And trust me, there's a lot of bugs.
Oh,
Try to People
yes.
have no idea that it's not going to be as easy to reshore here as everyone thinks.
Oh, I
And the
can
big
I can only imagine. I mean, you have to integrate biometric sensors, conductive yarns, flexible electronics into fashion, and that's hard to do this, first of all, without losing the design essence, isn't it?
Well, I actually have been blessed. I've been a part of the advisory committee for IPC. And since COVID, we've been working the global standards out for all smart products.
Okay.
So that's being released now as we talk. So we'll have those standards. The good thing about AI, it will be able to integrate those
Yeah.
standards into our ERP. So I have basically built out a complete system with ERP, CRM, PLM system, and we built it on top of a social network, private network, and we've got conferencing, email, file sharing, everything built into the system. So you can basically run your global business from a handheld in 20 languages.
Whew. All right. Well, I mean, it seems to be, is that a long-term initiative? I mean, how do you think the landscape is going to adapt all of this, and how fast is the ecosystem going to change? Because it seems like it's an initiative that encompasses a lot of different parties that is very complex. So how do you foresee the future and the embracing of this new system?
It's going to be an elimination of a lot of parties within the ecosystem
Yeah.
because we don't need them anymore. And what we're looking at is not. And I have this issue with a lot of the people that are contacting me. They're looking for masses. I'm only looking for the 20% that are going to do 80% of our business. That I don't need the rest. They're just going to cost me money and time. And my time is the most valuable asset I have at this point. And so I don't need to waste it on a lot of different entities that's not bringing anything to the table for the sustainability goal that we have. We've
Yeah.
also actually been working on carbon credits.
Okay.
So that's part of our development also. And by the year 2030, you're going to have to be carbon neutral. And most of these fashion companies have no idea that. Plus,
Um,
they're not aware of the laws that have changed. Number one, in Europe, that you have to show the life cycle of a product. And then also here in the US and California, they've applied some of the same laws. So you're going to see a lot of things come about sustainability.
yeah.
And then your large uh, fast fashion companies are going to have issues because the consumer is changing here. They're
Mm.
looking in here for more utilitarian quality of life type products. So the fast fashion is pretty much had its day as far as the way the consumer. They're also looking at what they call anti-fashion. If you'll notice, they're cutting off and wearing reusable products. The the busiest stores in the mall, I mean, the busiest stores in our city right now are your resale shops, and the prices there are almost as high as the retail prices in a regular store.
And
So it's amazing.
that's a challenge that of course also the tariffs I'm sure are also impacting that challenge. And you see a lot of major retail store closing doors. I mean, it's happening in Reno. We have a few of them just closing doors right now, having to reinvent themselves, reinvent their structure, and reorganize the way they are providing their services.
COVID actually saved most of those stores. They should have been gone before that. And
Mm,
what you have right now is a economy that's based on a false. I call it the monopoly economy because it's a monopoly game. They're only putting the money into the ones that they want to save, which is killing our real economy because your innovation comes from your small businesses. Also, your new jobs come from your small businesses,
yeah.
and they're killing the small companies by keeping these old companies alive. And I see a meteorite coming that's about to take out all the dinosaurs. and they're going to be gone shortly because they can't sustain themselves. We're at the largest paradigm shift that you've ever seen in the history of the world that we're going through now. And the people that have creative skills will survive, and the ones that are robotic will be replaced by robots.
Yeah, I mean that's I can believe that. I really can.
AI is not going to take people's jobs. People that are creative using AI will take those people's jobs.
You have to adapt and adjust to what's happening. It's just exactly like what happened with the internet. If you embraced it, great. If you rejected it, it's impossible to survive.
And what we have to do is start looking at how we take care of our older people now, because basically they can't sustain themselves through this. So we have to come up with a different quality of life for them. And that's where your opportunities are going to come in, because your baby boomers are going to need a lot of help now. They don't have any technology skills. They've like put all their money in the stock market, which is definitely not doing that well for them right now. So they're going to be looking at, okay, how do we survive? And with inflation and everything that's going on, there's opportunity there as a first part of just helping them to move into the next era that they're going to have in their quality of life. And that's going to be a major issue there. And that's going to be about sustainability. They're going to buy less, but buy higher quality. So your money is going to be a lot cautiously spent than it has been in the past.
Well, it's a matter of being able to pivot, but also of being educated. I think I see that as a challenge. I speak to people every day. There's a need for education, because when you do have that education, then it's easier to adjust and make the right decision and embrace those new technologies in a way that makes sense for you, because not everything is applicable either to you. You have to determine what is needed for you to stay afloat, to stay relevant, and to utilize all of that so that your productivity can increase. You're saving time. You are adjusting faster and more, and that's what's going to keep you alive. I really believe those who embrace all of that with the right education, with the right understanding, will take some huge leap forward.
I work tri-sector. I work with private industry, government, and education. And that's how I'm able to accomplish things as fast as I've been able to. Mm-hmm. And the biggest issue that I've had is the people that are involved. Once you finish with the top and start working your way down, there becomes an ego issue where they feel they have ownership. And the ownership is not letting the project evolve the way it should evolve. And there's a lot of problems there with that bottleneck. Yeah. And once we get past that bottleneck, and that'll end itself, because right now everybody's playing catch up, and this technology ball is rolling so fast, you can't chase it. You got to go where the ball is going to and be there when it gets there. It's kind of like sports, and people that are chasing the ball will never catch it now. And they jump on the buzzwords. They jumped on the metaverse. They jumped on NFT, and now they're jumped on AI. AI's been around for over 60 years. There's nothing new about AI.
Yeah, that is very true. It's been around for a long time. It's just coming out now. Is your marketing making an impact? Are you reaching the right audience? Is your messaging truly connecting? Are you maximizing your return on investment? At Slice Marketing, we use AI-powered insights to fine-tune your targeting, optimize your messaging, design high-converting websites, and craft content that inspires, entertains, and educates, or to amplify your brand's impact. Sometimes a small adjustment can create big results. Let's chat, no strings attached. Email us at catherine.oaks@slicemarketing.com. So Sam, you're also supporting fashion tech entrepreneurs, right? You have a collaboration where you're fostering cross-industry collaboration. Is that correct? Can you talk about that?
I have what's called a C2C collab, and it's a virtual workspace. And basically, people with ideas come to me, and they bring the ideas, and I sit down and we vet it, and we decide whether or not it's a project that we want to develop. And once we decide on developing it, then we go into prototyping. And because I have the resources that I have, I can usually do a prototype for about 1/8 of what someone else would do it, and not only that, of a higher quality because of our resources that we have that are able to do that. I work in Taiwan with a lot of our wearables. I work in China with most of our products, and even though we're going through the quotas and things like that, there's also ways of eventually evolving around a lot of the things that we're dealing with. So we have to just kind of wait and see right now what the next move is going to be, but we always have to adjust. We just need a stable word right now. We need to
Yes,
be.
well, I think it's going to be unstable for a while. I don't anticipate finding the stability very fast right
Well,
now.
I think the market will find the stability because if that stock market keeps dropping the way it's dropping, there's going to be a whole bunch of people.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, for sure it will. Yeah. So, I mean, you've been doing this for a long time. What's the most common piece of advice that you would give to early stage innovators in that field?
Stay away from venture capital.
Okay. Why?
Yeah, because you need to have a project that's going to create revenue. So your goal should be to create revenue, not to borrow money. If you want to borrow money, then just go get a car loan and be happy with your product. Because in the long run, when you go to venture capital and they 2x you on the buyout, and you have $500,000 in it, and they give you, and your buyout's $1 million, you get walk away with nothing.
With
And they
nothing.
don't
Yeah.
they don't understand how the numbers work. They just look at, oh, I just got $1 million, I just got $5 million.
Yeah.
But what did you give away? You gave away your soul
Yeah.
for that $5 million. Okay.
It's good advice, but the challenge is for people who have no money. I mean, how do you do this? And you have no money, you can't.
You'd be surprised how creative you could be if you utilize your brain and then your connectivity and work with what we call is decentralized collaboration. We create a network of people that work together to be able to create. It's like having a picnic, and everybody brings their best dish to the picnic, and then you have a feast. And that's what we have to start doing. We have to start building communities again and building around the system instead of trying to work through the system, because the system's not working for us right now.
Very true, very true. So now we're in the midst of a lot of new technologies. Are there any emerging trends or technologies that excite you the most? And
IoT, IoT is the buzzword that I think everyone should be on top of right now.
Okay.
Everything, as my partner in Italy says, everything that can be connected will be connected.
Okay.
And the only thing that'll have value are the things that you cannot connect. So we're moving into autonomous technology, which is basically being able to process the data at the point of collection. We're doing a lot of new technologies that are walking away from the passive technologies that we have now. Like, for instance, on websites, I think this is the end of a life cycle for a website, because everything's going to go to agents, and your agents will become your interactive with the customer. They become more interactive with the customer, and so you won't need the website except for collecting data.
I mean, it's going to be part of the structure, but in a different way, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, everything will eventually evolve and a different point, But what I see right now is a lot of people at blacksmith, and they keep thinking the horses are going to come back, and they're not coming back.
Yeah, I think you have to have a certain realistic eye on the situation, because otherwise, definitely, it's easier to turn your way around and go the other way and thinking it's going to pass. It won't pass, for sure. It won't pass. So,
one of the biggest issues that I see, though, is getting people to let go of their understanding of the past and understanding that the past really has no bearing on the future of what we're dealing with, because what we're moving away from is one dimension to multiple dimensions, and you'll be functioning in multiple dimensions now, not one dimension anymore. So you have to open your mind up to see the advantages of having the multiple dimensions that we'll be able to utilize. And when you start talking about the different technologies, I focus in on not so much MR, but AR. I'm sorry, not so much VR, but AR, MR, XR.
Yeah.
And then we're also working with the holograms now, also HoloLens. We work with autonomous technology, AI, and machine learning on the bottom end, obviously. And Web3 tokenization is the next form of what we're really focused in on, is tokenization right now. You've got a utility token, you've got a privacy token, you've got a transaction token, and then an NFT. And once people understand what a real NFT is used for, then they'll understand the power of NFTs.
And that's critical to understand, because I think the banking system is also going to be somehow they're going to have to be restructured. That also is coming as a major disruption, which is a great segue to talking about smart cities, because they are in China right now, and I'm not sure in the United States, but I know that China has developed some smart cities that have incorporated all these new technologies already, that are forcing now people to live in a fifth or sixth dimension with XR, like you mentioned, augmented reality, with new tech that you're wearing on your face. Can you talk about this?
Well, I developed a lot of that technology years ago, and That's why I say I don't want anything to do with VR, because your mother told you not to sit too close to the TV,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And your AR just makes more sense than VR. It overlays your virtual onto the real world, and you can interact with it with MR. So I mean, it's just a lot more practical for where we're headed to now. I see that the future right now will be how quick people learn how to use their creative skills. That's the most important tool that you have going forward. And it's for, you got to quit looking for a job and look for an opportunity.
I love that approach. It makes a lot more sense. Yeah, the JOB feature or understanding of the JOB is definitely shifting.
Well, it was a conditioning to a conditioning that you've been conditioned to, that you need to let go because it's over with. How many people are it's like slavery when they told the slaves you're free, and the slave said, but master, I don't know how to feed myself, I don't know how to clothe myself, I don't know it's the same thing all over again if you really look at it, because people how to clothe themselves, they don't know how to pay, they can't pay their bills right now. And you got to think about 70% of our economy is consumption.
Yes. So how do you do that, Sam? I mean, how do you teach someone to change their perspective so fast? Because I see a world where a lot of people are going to be self-sufficient, entrepreneurial. And in order to be entrepreneurial, you have to be creative. But when you have not been forced to be creative all your life, especially when you're older, I mean, even the younger generation, they have been taught to evolve in a certain way. They have been molded by a society that have taught them that's the way to be now. But things are changing. Now they have to build their own business. They have to be self-sufficient. How do you see that transition, and what type of advice would you give people in order to be able to assimilate this new environment as quickly as possible?
Hungry stomach makes the brain work a lot better.
What did you say? I didn't understand.
A hungry stomach makes the brain.
Yes.
It's amazing how your brain changes tracks when your stomach.
Yeah, that's so true. So true.
And that's where we're headed to right now. You got to think about where we're at. You've got inflation coming at you from one direction, deflation coming at you from another direction. You go to the store, your potato chip bag has half a bag of potato chips in it when you open it up, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and it went up in price. So you've got, when it meets in the middle, they're talking about stagflation because people won't have jobs to pay for it, but you're going to get hit with hyperinflation because now you don't have a supply chain. Because what people don't understand about the supply chain, and you asked me about education, I speak at multiple universities on what you and I are talking about now. But when you talk about what we just went through, you have to have all your goods out of China by the end of January because the Chinese New Year is February, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, April, May are the months that we produce the third quarter goods. There ain't no third quarter. Huh?
It's making me dizzy. Literally made me dizzy. Literally made me dizzy when I heard that. You're right.
It's right in front of people if they want to see it. Now you've got your three largest trading partners that aren't producing the products that we need and 75% of our GDP is from August through December.
Wow.
So, and 70% of our economy is consumption. So what's that tell you about what's going to happen here? And I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just being realistic.
No, yeah. But what do you think about that? Because I'm hearing many times that we're going to be forced to reinvent the localization of goods, the localization of production. Is that what's happening?
We're working micro right now. That's all we're focusing on is micro systems. Micro systems connected with IoT to give you global connectivity. So we're building out micro grids, micro communities, everything is micro now. We're not worried about the macro because once the consumer understands that the power that they have in consumption, the big guys are in trouble.
Yeah, that's so very true. So very true. So that shifts also the way we're going to be able to house ourselves, because everywhere you see that trend now, because most people can't afford buying a home. It's so expensive. So you see the trend of tiny homes. I mean, Elon Musk has built tiny homes that are mobile, tiny homes, all self-sufficient. How do you see that that trend going? And do you really believe that the housing will shift dramatically so that we are more now able to actually buy a home and travel all over the world with that home?
The only thing that creates value is demand.
Yeah. Okay.
And as we move away from the cities, you're going to see huge opportunities in the cities. Number one, the office buildings are vacant now. Look at New
Yes.
York, look at Austin, look at all the different cities. They're
Yeah.
vacant. Look at California. They're selling them for 75% of the value that they were before. And so you're seeing a huge paradigm shift going on right now, but people don't want to see it. It's like the boogeyman's in the room, but if I don't look at it, then he's not going to be there.
Yeah, very true. So how do we fix that?
Only way that I see it's going to be fixed is a hungry stomach. And we're headed there quickly. Because how do you pay for your house payment, and your car payment, and your kids' education if you don't have a job?
So there's a huge shift in the work environment, in the income, how we're going to generate income. Yeah, it's happening for sure. I can see that for sure. I mean, I can see that.
But out of chaos comes opportunity for those that see it. And this is probably the most opportune time that anyone's had. There's going to be a lot of Zimbabwe zillionaires soon.
Zimbabwe zillion. Can you describe that for me?
Have you ever seen Zimbabwe money? You got $1 billion notes and they can't buy a loaf of bread. And that's what you're doing. You're collecting monopoly money now. And I accept Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana for all of our products and services. I'd rather have Bitcoin now than have a dollar.
Yeah, the dollar is losing its value so fast. I get you. Yeah.
Yeah. So your Bitcoin is also portable. You can take it and use it anywhere in the world. Plus, you can pay your invoices without having to go through the SWIFT.
So would you recommend then for people to invest in Bitcoin right now? I have no problem. I'm sure you would have some, you'd be careful to make some type of advice like that. But is that what people should be looking at now and getting educated on Bitcoin? Because each time I talk about that, there seems to be such a rejection of the topic because they don't trust it.
Let me share with you what I see with Bitcoin. Because I've gotten a lot of my friends and they've made a lot of money in Bitcoin. And the thing that bothers me about my friends is that as soon as it dips, they want to call me and tell me, well, it dipped, it went down. I'm like, yeah, so did the dollar. Okay. So did the stock market. Did you call somebody, your stockbroker, and tell them that your stock went down? You know, everything goes, that's nature. Everything in life goes up and down.
And down.
Yeah. And so you just got to ride the crest of whatever it's headed to. And right now, Bitcoin went from 15,000 to 109,000 this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now it's down to 85. So you're still ahead from the 15 if you got in at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, that's very true. But
I'm not telling anybody to do anything anymore. I'm going to have to let them find out for themselves because I don't want to be responsible for them. I'm going to do what I need to do, and I'm going to give them opportunities. And if they want to take advantage of the opportunities, great. If not, that they can become a part of the 80% because all I really want to deal with is the 20%. I'm going to take all the noise out of my life right now because you have to eliminate the noise. Because the noise is going to distract you from missing. If you're not in the moment right now, you're going to miss the opportunity because that's how quick it's coming by you. It's only in the moment.
And how hard is it, though, to maintain some level of clarity?
That's why you've got to push the noise away and get those people out of your life right now because they're going to naysayers, the ones that can't bring anything good to the table. They just want to come and eat every time you have a picnic.
But you know what? I get you, Sam. But you know, the one thing I've noticed, because I am like that, I am an innovator. I always think out of the box. I always challenge the known because I can see, I'm a futurist. I can see what's coming. But most of the time, and I would tell you 90% of the time when I speak with people and I challenge them, I'm totally rejected. I am unaccepted. I am out of their realm of comprehension. So when that happens, you are pushed away. That's the only way people can react. They push away. Anything that you represent is a threat to them. I see this all the time.
And the way I look at it now is that those are the people that I can eliminate first. They're the ones that go away, leave me alone, because you're not bringing anything to the picnic. And if you're going to sit back and tell me how bad the food is and what's wrong with it and why the table's not set up great and why we don't have matching dishes, then you need to go. because I don't need that in my life right now.
Yeah.
Because right now we have to be focused in on the ball, and it's moving so fast, and you've got to keep your eye on it. And you've also got to have people around you that are supporting you with the concepts and ideas. Otherwise, they have to go, and you don't need that other 80% because they're just costing you money and time.
They are, and they're slowing down the process. That's inevitable anyway. It's going to happen. This is why I tell everyone: so you can reject it or postpone it as much as you can. It's happening. There's no option here. The train has left the station and it's starting to get faster and faster and faster.
And it's gonna, and you can't get on it.
And you can get on it, and you can get on it, but it is really hard to shift perception. And I'm still pushing, I'm still educating, I'm still talking, but it's still very hard to shift that perception, and mostly with older generations, because I also believe older generations are going to live a lot longer life, so they will have to adjust the way they live. We're going to be able to live up to 110, 120 years old, because biotech is changing so fast, because the medical industry is evolving in ways it has never evolved before. So that is a shift too. People will live longer, and where do they go? What are they going to do? They have to work. That's a whole new shift and whole new perception of the world that we have to evolve in, isn't it?
Well, everything repeats itself, and where we're headed back to is peace, love, and happiness.
Ah, I love that.
That's where we're headed back to. And what you're going to see people do is start communing together, living together, building together in the microsystems. So you're going to see a lot of microsystems develop, and that's the only way they can survive. I mean, you've got to have food, water, shelter. That's the rest of it doesn't really matter.
Yep.
And yeah, and when these people have to start repairing these electric cars.
I mean, that's another thing. What do you see? What do you foresee in that with electric cars? What do you think is going to happen?
I think that when they have to repair them, and that battery is what, 10 grand to replace that battery when it goes bad. And that's the weakest part of that car is the battery, not to mention the weight and the damage it does to the roads. And people don't know about that. Those electric cars are so heavy, they destroy the roads.
Really? Huh? I didn't know that. Huh.
So there's a lot of issues that people don't understand about the marketing and things that people are conditioned to. I think that you're going to see, number one, people won't need a car anymore because they won't have the ability. When you also build the micro communities, everything will be in those micro communities.
How about flying cars? I mean, everybody's now talking about this. We're going to be flying. We won't have to drive anymore.
Well, I saw the Chinese had introduced their cars over in Dubai, which was interesting to see that. And they're doing some of it here. The problem with here, I'd be afraid to get in anything made in this country. I'm afraid to get in airplanes now. It's like unbelievable how many are falling here lately, right?
I know, you're right. It is scary. I am too. I don't trust it. Yeah.
Our country is a third world country. We just hadn't realized it yet.
Whew, that's a big statement, but I'm there with you. I'm there with you.
But the thing about this country is when we have to go to work, we will go to work, but everybody's got to get out of our way. And they got to quit printing money and giving it to these corporations to keep them afloat when they should go out anyhow. I mean, they should let them go and quit saving the banks, quit saving everybody, and let the economy. That's what economy is. And the thing that we're missing right now, you've killed the velocity of money in the community. And the velocity of money, it has to turn 7 times through the community before you have value.
Yeah.
It has no value.
Yeah, it's interesting how we went from years ago, of course, from very community-based solutions to highly global systems, and we are getting back to the community-based solutions that seem to be more sustainable, right?
Right. And what I'm finding right now with a lot of my retail stores, because the rents have doubled and tripled on their stores, they're having to close the stores down. And a lot of these ladies are in their 60s, 70s now, and they don't have a way of surviving. So what they're doing now is they're learning how to recycle products. So they're recycling to their customers now, and they're using, and a lot of their customers have so much in their closets that they need to move some of the stuff around and clean it out. So they're doing things now that are going to move away from the direction that we were in the past.
How interesting is it that because of COVID, we were forced to be isolated, and now we are going to be forced to come back together and work together towards solutions that are safer.
And
That's
you said it right. We're going to be forced into it, whether we like it or not. And the thing that you're going to see too is one of the problems, Catherine, that I see in this country is 60 to 70% of the people are divorced. You're going to start seeing families again here.
well, that's a good thing. But why do you think the divorce rate has gone so up? I mean, I would love to hear your point of view here. I have mine, but why is that?
Because there's no relationship between a man and a woman that is sufficient. Women have evolved and men have not evolved to a certain extent. And we have children that were basically left alone because both parents were working. So we've destroyed the family, and that's the country without family. There's no country here.
And I'm there with you. And thank you for saying that. I didn't want to say it because I'm a woman, but you're right. Women have evolved, men have not. And there's a gap, a huge gap that has been created that creates those disruptive behavior that include divorce, that include separation, that include the destruction of the family core that has a huge impact on our human evolution.
But the difference was back when I grew up, my mother and my grandmother, they were the boss, but they didn't have to prove it.
Ah, yes, very true.
They were the boss, but they didn't have to prove it. Okay.
Yep.
In this day and time, they have to prove it.
Yeah, they have to prove it this day and time, but I think that's also is changing where we won't have to prove it anymore. But that's really, I'm observing that because I know I have lived that myself. When a woman becomes confident, self-sufficient, she changes, she disrupts her world to fit her needs, and very often a man that has not evolved does not fit in that picture anymore. But then what happens? I mean, reproduction, we won't have children anymore. I mean, what's going to happen there? Because we need to reproduce still, right?
And those dogs and cats aren't going to be there forever either. And that's what the substitute has become, and that's not good. We have to have family again. We have to take care of our children. We have to take care of our community. We have to take care of our elderly people. We have to understand the responsibilities we have to each other.
Do you think it's only an American challenge here? Because I see a lot of countries, including Asia, where the family core is very different. The way they take care of their elderly is very different from what's happening here in this country.
I see how the Africans respect their elders and take care of their elderly people.
Yeah.
And I watch how they behave here, because I have two brother-in-laws, one's from Cameroon, one's from Nigeria, and I see their culture being so much better than our culture is.
Yes, I agree with you.
And their families have turned out better than any of the families that are in my other part of the family, because they've given their kids other values than what my other parts of my family did. So it's just interesting to see how we as Americans have become so materialistic that we don't really know. And I don't want to get off into a religion because God is personal with people, but we don't know who God is anymore.
Yeah, we don't. No, you're right. That notion of God has been rejected so often that God is out of the picture in so many places now, which is very disruptive, very damaging.
Yeah, and God is, and after that, it's all made up by man. So,
yeah, no, man, that's true. But that's not only in the United States. When I come from Europe. I come from France, and I see the same type of behavior there. I think maybe it's more advanced, ultra-capitalistic countries that have evolved in ways that are very disruptive to the family core, to the main principles of community. Because in developed countries, like you mentioned, the philosophy, the approach, the understanding, the belief system is very different and probably healthier altogether.
But it's going to come back out of demand, because we're going to. Also, you said France. I worked with in Saint Germain with Votre-Dame. I brought them in Kukai. Kukai. I know you know Kukai.
Yeah. Wow. So anyway, I know we could talk about this forever. You're fascinating. I love to hear you talk, and you're giving me some good perspective and things I believe in myself too. So it's great to hear that, because when I'm not thinking, hey, you're such a black sheep. What are you thinking this way? Everybody's not thinking that way. So thank you, Sam. Makes me
Well,
feel better.
but you gotta help people understand
Yeah,
the
yeah,
perspective. They can have a negative perspective,
yeah,
or they can have a positive perspective, and neither one of them are good. You got to have a realistic perspective right now.
yeah.
What is reality? Because that's the only thing that matters. Having a viewpoint one way or the other doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, no, very, very true. That's great advice. All right, Sam. So if you could leave my listeners with one message about the future of fashion, about the impact of new tech in this world, what would that be?
Well, right now, what I see happening is that you're going to have to be more sustainable. And the sustainability part of it is going to be the marketing part of where we're headed to going forward. You're also going to have utilitarian products. And utilitarian products mean that they'll be used, repaired, and continue to be used generations. The older it gets, the better it's going to get. And that's why we're going with the RFID chips. We're going to incorporate that into the products, so the product will have a history, and you'll be able that product will eventually become art. And that's where we're headed to with the fashion, and that's what's happening with the resale shops, is that those are becoming art galleries now, and people don't realize
Yes,
it yet.
they are for sure. Maybe art will have more art and more creative people, which is
Well,
very
that's the goal right now, is get the creative juices have to start flowing, because that's how we survive. And there's going to be a good change. This is going to be the best change that we've gone through, having to start over again and rebuild. Maybe we'll build some consciousness in the humans again, because they're numb right now.
Oh, that's my God. I will have to keep this as a main headline somewhere because it is true. It explains everything we just talked about. So that's amazing. Thank you so much, really, Sam. So if people want to connect with you or get involved in your C2C mission, what is the best way to do that?
Okay, LinkedIn is where I'm linked on LinkedIn, so it's Samuel Alexander. As far as we have C2C intranet, if you want to see the project, it's in beta. We have it up, and what I've done is I've stacked 5 platforms, enterprise platforms, and we're running on top of Azure. And we have an ERP, CRM, PLM system, social platform, a conferencing platform with email and all of the file sharing that you need within the product. Then we also have an API integration platform. So all the guys that are creating software that they're not selling to the industry, because nobody in our industry is using technology, because there's a huge gap between the fashion industry and the tech industry. But there's a huge amount of technology that's being developed. So we built a platform so you can bridge that technology into our ecosystem. So as people,
Mm,
they can actually customize their dashboard with your software within our integration system.
great,
So
great, wonderful. Well, we'll make sure to share all
that's
of this. Yeah.
C2C intranet.com.
Okay. Okay, perfect. We'll make sure it's on the video. And all right, great. Any other parting words that you would like to share, Sam?
No, I've enjoyed the conversation. I feel like it was a real conversation, but I try to share the perspective of the opportunity that we have. And this is probably the biggest opportunity for creative people that has ever come about. And you got to let go of the negative perspective, because when you see change, it's not negative. It's
It
an
is,
opportunity.
and it's beautiful. And thank you for saying that because you have to let creativity pour out of yourself and you have to open up your eyes so that you can actually see creativity that is in front of you and not push it away because it will be life changing. It will be something that will provide us with innovative solutions that are going to be critical for our survival going forward. So I appreciate that perspective and that understanding of this world that we have to embrace now that is changing and that we are part on. We have no choice but jump on that train.
But the biggest opportunity that I see is people are going to move away from a quantity of life to a quality of life.
Uh,
And you're going to see that's going to be the main focus of the market for going forward.
Here's another great quote from Sam. That's beautiful. I think you need to write a book, Sam. If you have not yet, you need to write a book.
Everybody keeps saying that, but I'm doing enough lecturing and putting it on video. So
I know. What a refreshing perspective. I mean, I've talked to you once, a second time I'm speaking with you, and I've always been a very positive person, always seeing a glass full. But it really helps when you have someone reinforcing your belief in a good world, you believe in all things possible. because to me, that's the only way to approach life. If you really want to be part of something that will evolve humankind.
We were created in the image of the great creators as creators, and we were given an imagination. Anything you can imagine, you can create.
Yeah. And that's a great way to end up this podcast. Thank you, Sam, for participating. It was a great honor to have you here today. Everyone, thank you so much for watching. I am sure you enjoyed this conversation. I mean, we have here someone extremely unique, extremely adept and smart about all these new technologies. But more than that, it's also being smart about the evolution of this world and the socio-economic situation that we are all in right now, and working together as one. We have many countries, but we have one Earth here, and one Earth that needs to remain sustainable, that needs to grow in a direction that's very new, but it is essential for our survival. So let's be all open-minded. Let's open up our eyes to creative solutions that we're not used to, but that will be essential going forward, so that together we can embrace what's coming our way faster than ever, a new speed of light, a new speed of life, and a new way to look at things together, so that we can build those micro systems, microeconomies, economies that we just talked about, that will be very important going forward. Again, thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe to my channel. I would appreciate it. I need you to help me continue doing what I'm doing here, to speak with incredible leaders and innovators and sharing their stories, sharing their evolution in this world, which is critical for us all. Education is key here. Thank you again, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.